Genesis chapter 37, verse 5 through 11. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brother said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream, and what he had said. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Guys, do you remember what we talked about last week? Jacob was wrestled with God. Today is a story about Jacob's sons. It's about Jacob's son, Joseph, and his brothers. Do you know how many sons Jacob had? Yeah, he had 12 sons. Among them, Jacob loved Joseph the most, which was born by Rachel, whom he loved. So Jacob dressed Joseph the most beautifully colored clothes. So can you guess how other brothers did to Joseph? Yes, they hated Joseph and were jealous. One day, Joseph had a dream in which brothers' grains bowed down to Joseph. So next day, Joseph went and talked to his brothers. "Listen to this dream. We were binding sheaves of grain out of the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowing down to it." Then his brother said to Joseph,
"Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?"
And Joseph had a similar dream sometime later. "I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." After hearing this, Joseph's father, Jacob, scolded Joseph. "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" All his brothers hated Joseph and were jealous. But his father Jacob remembered the story of this dream that Joseph told him. One day, Joseph's brothers were farming sheep far from home. At this time, his father Jacob ordered Joseph to go and watch whether his brothers were doing okay. Then, brothers saw Joseph and talked.
"Guys, let's kill Joseph, and let's lie that the beast killed Joseph."
Then Reuben, the oldest brother, said, "Let's not take his life. Let's just throw him in the well." The reason Reuben said this was that he wanted to save Joseph later. So the brothers took off Joseph's fine clothes and threw him into the well. Then, as Midian merchants passed by, one of the brothers named Judah said,
"Let's just sell Joseph as a slave."
As Judah said, the brothers sold Joseph to Midian merchants, and the brothers tore Joseph's fine clothes and smeared the goat's blood and gave it to his father Jacob. When Jacob heard this news, he cried sadly. What is today's message telling us? Why was Joseph sold as a slave? He told his dream to his brothers, but they became jealous and hated Joseph and sold as slave. But the more important fact is, there was a problem not only with Joseph's brothers, but with everyone. God met Joseph's father Jacob when he was fearing and deceived from Esau. Like Joseph, God met Jacob through a dream. Remember how God showed Jacob in a dream with angels going up and down the stairways. Jacob also received a message from God through a dream. But he took the dream of his son Joseph lightly. Seeing this, Jacob's life must have been living according to his will, not completely obeying God. That is why 11 of his sons who sold Joseph also had problems. All of these people could not live in obedience to God and could not realize the will of God. Nevertheless, unlike all of these people, Almighty God was still faithfully guarding Joseph to fulfill his promises. Joseph's brothers sold Joseph to the Midian merchants as a slave for their evilness, but in the end, God accomplished the good will of God through all these things. I bless you as well as God's children who always think where the will of God is and obey to it. 자, 3월 셋째 주 액티비티 준비물을 꺼내주시기를 바랍니다. 오늘은 요셉의 꿈을 함께 표현해 보면서 오늘 말씀을 기억해 보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다.
이렇게 햇님과 달님, 별이 11개의 별이 안녕하세요 하고 저를 혹시
자, 이렇게 요셉의 꿈 액티비티가 끝났습니다. 모두 수고 많으셨습니다. 아벨아, 오늘 이 요셉의 꿈은 하나님이 요셉에게 보여주신 꿈이었어요. 그죠? 그렇기 때문에 이 꿈을 아벨이도 잘 기억하고 하나님이 어떻게 일하시는지 우리 함께 말씀을 통해서 배워봐요. 알았죠? 아멘.